Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about some Disney news without her. This is a daily dose of dismal Disney, I guess. Well, this is more about Quentin Tarantino, and if you look up news on Toy Story, most of the news is him not acknowledging Toy Story 4 as existing. He won't watch it. He refuses to watch it. He said, we have 3 good Toy Story movies. It ended on a perfect note. We don't need it anymore. And I happen to agree with him. Toy Story 4 was very, very unnecessary. I mean, technically speaking, Toy Story 3 was unnecessary, but it was pretty good. Toy Story 4 was overkill. And now they're going to make a Toy Story 5. I mean, this is just about Disney trying to make more money. That's literally it. There's no good reason to make another Toy Story movie, right? So let's talk about this, and then we're going to talk about Pete Docter, who is in charge of Pixar now, and he's talking about what Disney expects from their sequels. Well, they expect them to make money. Lightyear did not make money. We've had a couple of misfires over at Disney, but Inside Out made good money. Made very good money, and I think it's because they went back to formula. So I think Toy Story 5 is probably going to be a very unnecessary, very safe movie, and Quentin Tarantino is probably not going to watch it. So let's talk about this. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. No woohoo in this one. Yeah, I didn't understand the point of Toy Story 4. I mean, it was like, I don't even understand why, to be honest, why Andy gave his toys away to Bonnie, because she doesn't appreciate them, obviously. And yeah, so somehow Woody's going to come back too. I don't know. You know, Andy could have put himself through college by selling Woody if he was going to do that, right? He could have totally put himself through college. Just sold off his Woody doll. Complete with hat and a fairly fresh paint job, right? Anyway, this comes from Deadline. Quentin Tarantino doesn't want to play with Toy Story anymore. How is this? Like, there are so many damn headlines. Can we talk about that? There's like 30 articles about Quentin Tarantino not liking Toy Story 4. Why is that such a big damn deal? He doesn't like a kid's movie. Who cares? But it's all over the place. Like, everybody's talking about it because I think he's voicing what other people feel about some of these franchises. And this is how YouTubers took off. This is how YouTubers became very popular. You don't have to agree with all of their opinions, but they wouldn't have the audiences they have unless a lot of people agreed with them. Right. And so when you've got YouTubers criticizing Star Wars or criticizing, comic books or video games or whatever it is, and they've got hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers, and they get, hundreds of thousands of views on every one of their videos, compared to vetted media outlets like Collider, which does an interview with Michael Keaton and it pulls 4,000 views in like 2 or 3 days. Right. It's because a lot of people agree with them. I mean, you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to like the tactics they use. You don't have to. But the truth of the matter is they got big because they're voicing opinions that the mainstream media will not voice because it's not safe. You don't want to criticize Disney, guys, because you might not get free cupcakes, right? Quentin Tarantino doesn't give a shit. Actually, you know who else doesn't give a shit? Tim Burton. Tim Burton's actually going on a tear against Disney now. He's promoting Beetlejuice 2. And he said that he'll never work with them again. He worked with them on Dumbo. And I mean, did they fire him? They fired him, right? Years ago. And then he came back. He did Nightmare Before Christmas. And then they've been milking the hell out of that one. But he said, yeah, he'll never work with them again. And so I don't think Quentin Tarantino is going to be directing any Disney movies anytime soon. Oh, my God. He's not going to direct Snow White 2, although I would watch a Snow White movie directed by Quentin Tarantino. That'd be pretty fucking wild. Anyway, Quentin Tarantino doesn't want to play with Toy Story anymore. The famed director recently appeared on an episode of Club Random with Bill Maher. Oh my God, he must be alt-right. Where, among other things, he discussed the difficulties of wrapping up a trilogy in a satisfying manner for the audience. Because of his love for the initial Toy Story trilogy, The Kill Bill Helmer said he had no desire to view subsequent films. I don't watch all the animated movies and stuff, but I'm a big fan of Toy Story. He said in a clip that has since gone viral on X. I think there's only one trilogy that completely and utterly works to the nth degree, and that's A Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He also went on to describe that the Clint Eastwood starring Italian film series, which found the spaghetti western genre, was successful because it followed a one-director vision. It does what no other trilogy has ever been able to do. First movie is terrific, but the second movie is so great and takes the whole idea to a bigger canvas that obliterates the first one. I don't know. Empire Strikes Back was better than the original Star Wars. The third one does the same thing to the second one. Okay, well that's where it comes off the rails, right? Because I think most people feel that Return of the Jedi is vastly inferior to The Empire Strikes Back, but it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's not as good. Yeah, because typically how it works is you have one good movie, and then you have a great sequel, and then the third one kind of falls off. I'd look at the Dark Knight trilogy too. I'd look at that. Like, the first one was okay. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, I'll get back into Batman movies. And then the second one was like, damn, that was amazing. And then the third one was like, yeah, it was pretty good, but it wasn't as good as the second one, but it was okay. It was pretty good. It had some good scenes. And then you get, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which is just like, anyway. He said, in the case of Toy Story, the third one is magnificent. It is good. That's the thing. Like, I didn't think there needed to be a Toy Story 3. There still technically doesn't need to be a Toy Story 3, but it is a good movie. He explained to Bill Maher, who's an adult who has never watched the movies. He's like, what, 70? He's like, yeah, right. Didn't even have kids young enough to watch the movie. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. If you've seen the other two, it's just devastating. Yeah. The thing is, then 3 years later on or something, they did a fourth, and I have no desire to see it. You literally ended the story as perfect as you could. So no, I don't care if it's good. I'm done. Toy Story 5 is currently in development. Yeah. So, this is where we're at, right? With pop culture. This is where we're at with it. Remember when these blogs used to be kind of the go-to? You see what they're doing now? I'm seeing so many articles on these blogs that are basically talking about things that were discussed on Joe Rogan or on Bill Maher or on YouTube. So the bloggers now, we've come full circle, right? So now the pop culture bloggers are getting their news from the podcasters and the YouTubers. So I don't want to hear anything about YouTubers just reading the articles. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, there's a bunch of people, since this is Deadline, they're all like, well, he's a nothing burger and I don't like him very much. I'm like, bitch, he's more successful than you'll ever. Yeah, Anonymous. I'm not interested in Tarantino's opinions about anything. This man has been churning out terrible derivative films for years. He has no room to criticize other filmmakers. Yeah, the high art of Toy Story 4. That's the movie that actually got John Lasseter fired, by the way, because I believe, if I remember the story correctly, Rashida Jones accused him of like touching her knee or something during a conversation. Mostly it was, she wasn't real happy with the way the film was going, I believe. And then he just kind of got gone. BC says, Toy Story 4 or 5 isn't about artistic intent. It's about milking that cow until it's a withered, desiccated concept. Desiccated. I feel the same way about a lot of films. In fact, I'm sure they're good, but I have no interest in watching them. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Pete Docter, right? Let's talk about Pete Docter. Pete Docter, and what they expect from sequels at Disney. They expect money. That's all they expect at this point, money. And how you get money, you give the audience what they want. You give them meat and potatoes. And I know that sucks. I know it's not high art. And, Pixar for the longest time elevated the art form of animation. I think Walt would have immensely enjoyed the output of Pixar. But now they just have to make money, right? They laid off a whole bunch of their staff. And Inside Out 2 is showing them the way, right? I mean, you have a bomb like Lightyear, and you have bombs like, Turning Red, which I thought was okay. It didn't feel like a Pixar movie, but I thought it was all right. It wasn't nearly as bad as people made it out to be. I mean, it was definitely for girls. It was definitely a girly movie, but it was okay. It was all right. But it didn't make a ton of money. You know, a lot of these movies didn't make a ton of money. So Pete Docter, Pixar's chief creative officer, explains what the animation studio expects from their sequels. The sequel to The Incredibles and Toy Story and the spin-off series for Inside Out in the works. God, come from Deadline again. The filmmaker opened up about what they want. It's a combo. We're making these for the audience, not for ourselves. So you want to know if they'll be well received. This is actually, and other people I'm sure have pointed this out by now because this article is from a couple days ago. This is the opposite of what he was saying before. Before he was basically saying the audience was too stupid to understand Lightyear. And now he's like, well, we're making these for the audience, not for ourselves. And before it was like, you chuds, you don't understand high art, the high art of Lightyear, you know, the Toy Story spinoff. So he was talking to Fandango, which has ties to Disney, by the way, and which owns Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, and which has just gotten rid of the audience score, by the way, just so you know. Then we do have sort of a guideline or guardrail that if we get a certain way in, it's not feeling like it's about something new and substantive, then we'll cut bait. So it's imperative that something feels like, oh, this is furthering the story. So again, was the story of Toy Story 4 just more toys? They should have called it Fork You. Toy Story 4, Fork You. Because of Forky, which is so stupid. Doctor continued, I was talking about something that we didn't explore in the first one, or something deeper we didn't get to explore about the human condition or our own experiences in life. We're making these for the audience, not for ourselves. We want to talk about our own experience. I don't know, whatever. Although the studio has done sequels, Doctor recently said they were not going to do live action versions of their films. I hope to God not. Even though Lightyear could have very easily been a live action movie. Oh, yeah, it was. It's called Interstellar. This might bite me in the butt for saying it, but sort of bothers me, he told Time. I like making movies that are original and unique to themselves. To remake it, it's not very interesting to me personally. So Pete Docter is saying he doesn't like the live action Disney remakes either. He said making a live action film about a rat would be tough. So much of what we create only works because of the rules of the animated world. Well, tell it to Disney that's making another Lion King movie. I mean, it doesn't work in live action. I don't think Ratatouille would either. God, that would look weird. Actually, they've already done Ratatouille in live action. It's Raccoonie from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I love that scene. So yeah, I don't know. This is weird. To Disney, all they care about is money, guys. Anonymous. I love these anonymous people on Deadline. You know, they're industry people. They just don't want everybody to be like, oh my God, so-and-so producer left a comment on Deadline that says blah, blah. Sequels get made because, like all sequels, the audience is there and there's a profit to be made. Cars 2 and 3 were made for the audience, i.e. the money. I don't think either one furthered the story. But profits led them to better Pixar sequels. That's true. Cars 2 and 3 were pointless. 3 was better than 2. 2 was awful. 2 was like direct to DVD level. I didn't think Monsters University was very good either. If all sequels can do whatever Inside Out 2 did, I think they'll be good with that. That's true. Because at the end of the day, it's about money. And you are making a product for your audience, right? And as long as people support unnecessary Toy Story movies, it doesn't really matter what Quentin Tarantino thinks. But that's so weird. Quentin Tarantino, who makes the kind of movies he makes, is saying that the first 3 Toy Story movies were incredible and some of the best movies ever made. I don't know. I think it's really fascinating. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.